Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This may look a little bit different. I did get a new tripod, so I'm experimenting with it to see how I like it. I kind of got bored with the sitting down videos and felt like I couldn't express my emotion that well while I was sitting down, so we're gonna give this one a shot. So today's video is going to be a book review, and this will be my first book review on this channel, finally. I've been meaning to do one for a very long time, but I wasn't sure how capable I was of doing it because I'm not very good at expressing my thoughts and opinions on books after I've read them. However, I did get in the mail recently Broken Promise by Linwood Barclay. This is an ARC. This doesn't come out until July 28th of this year. And I just finished reading this book and I have to say I absolutely loved it. Now, how I'm going to review this book, I've actually broken it down into parts. So I'm going to start with the synopsis, and then I'm going to go on to the characters, and then the writing style, and then my own thoughts and opinions on this book. So this book is about a guy named David and his son named Ethan, and he has a job that goes under, and his wife unfortunately passes away. So he is forced to move back home to his parents' home in Promise Falls, New York. At the very beginning of the book, his mother asks David to go see his cousin Marla and deliver some food to her. And it turns out that Marla had been pregnant and she had a baby, but the baby passed away due to complications during pregnancy. So when David goes over there, he is shocked to find that Marla has a child there with her. Now, when David goes to ask her about where the child came from, she says that an angel brought it to her. So that's basically it for the synopsis. I can't really tell you too much more without giving things away. So now we're going to move on to characters. I have to say that Linwood Barclay did an excellent job on his character development. There are a lot of characters in this book, so you really have to pay attention because otherwise you're going to get confused and not really understand what's going on. It might actually help if you write down the characters' names and their relation to the main character and things like that, because as the story develops, it gets more complicated. And all of these people are linked in different ways that you wouldn't think that they would be linked. But surprisingly, while I was reading this, I was able to follow along really well. So I'm not going to go too much into the characters. There's David and his son and his parents, and then his cousin Marla. But there are also a long string of other characters that are brought into this story that make it that much better. So now we're going to move on to the writing style. For those of you that don't know, Linwood Barclay is my favorite author. So his writing style to me is excellent. If I had to relate him to another author, I would probably say Stephen King. I've noticed with his progression in writing that it's very similar to the way that Stephen King writes, and I really like Stephen King as well, so it's not really an issue for me. His writing style kind of keeps you guessing. From the very beginning, I was trying to figure out what had happened and who did what, and throughout the story, you're wrong. You're always wrong. He maneuvers these characters and twists them around so much, and they're so entwined together, and you just don't even realize it. So throughout the book, he kind of mentions things that you would think would be important and you're not really sure, and you either find out later or you don't. It's just, he likes to throw things in there to kind of confuse you a little bit, I think, to make you think that there's a significance to this. But there's also always a chance that what he is telling you may not be significant. And before I get any further into his writing, I also want to mention that this book is told in many different perspectives. I think that makes it even better because you get to experience different situations through different people. And Linwood Barclay has this way of making everything kind of tie together at the end for a really good close, and it's always really suspenseful and it's really gripping. This is why I love him as a writer. I don't even know how his brain comes up with this stuff. I wouldn't be able to do it. There are no words to describe how his brain works. I don't understand how he is able to piece together such an amazing story. So the last thing I want to talk about are my thoughts and opinions, which I've kind of included in the other, categories that I mentioned. And I may be a bit biased because Linwood Barclay is my favorite author, but his writing is just fantastic. This is probably the best book that I've read from him so far, and I have read every single one of his books. His writing is progressively getting better and better every time he comes out with a new book. And this book, I think, is going to be part of a series. I think it's a 3-book series, and the next one I think comes out next year at some point. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm hoping to get my hands on an arc of it because I don't know how much longer I can wait to get my hands on the second book in this. And I'm pretty sure that it deals with the same town, which is Promise Falls, New York. So all in all, I adored this book. It's probably my favorite read so far this year, so I definitely gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. If you have not read Linwood Barclay and you like suspense thriller novels, I would highly recommend him. All of his books are different. All of them are very suspenseful. All of them are insane, but so good. And I did have one person ask me what would be a good book to start with him. The first book that I ever read by him was No Time for Goodbye, and I found it at work one day. Someone had left it on a table and said, if you'd like to read this, here you go. So I picked it up. I actually still have the copy that I originally started with because I loved it so much. So this is the copy that I have. And it is very worn and beat up. And you know what? I don't even care. It's on my favorite shelf. So this book would be an excellent one to start with. I won't really go into what it's about, but I will link the Goodreads page down below if you would like to check this out. So that is it for this book review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below ways that I can improve my reviews, or if you think this one was pretty good. As I said before, this is my first book review, so I'm not sure if I'm doing it in a very effective manner. Hopefully I am. Even so, I'm going to write a review, so I will link the review in the description below if you'd like to check out my written review. There will be no spoilers in it, just as there were no spoilers in this review. So I look forward to your guys' feedback, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!